Yo, what's going on YouTube? Jan Moses here. Wanted to rip a few packs in my team and talk about the Eastern Conference semifinals matchup between my New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. I've been grinding a good amount of my team today after taking the majority of the last couple of weeks off, really. I just logged in to get the daily reward and then basically logged off. But now we have less than 2 weeks to go until the start of Season 7, and I am level like 22 or something, so I have some work to put in if I want to get the Dark Matter SGA, which I do want to get. So we will go ahead and rip some of these Bionic and Playoff Deluxe packs. I got a good amount of these agendas done, which we will go ahead and redeem first. I figured, I usually always struggle to find things to talk about when we're ripping packs outside of just providing commentary on the content in the packs themselves. So I figured, why not talk about the Knicks and the Pacers in this video, and then if Harry wants to record a podcast focusing in on that series, and maybe in that context or in that format, we can dive in a little deeper on, different matchups and things like that with the series. We'll do that there. But in this video, I just want to, basically talk about some things that are on my mind as we head into game one of that Knicks Pacers series tomorrow night. We will rip a few of these base packs first. I also just recently noticed, maybe it was today or last night whenever I got back on my team, I think they reversed the order of your unopened packs now, where your most recent ones are going to be the ones you see first, which I kind of like, but it's throwing me off a little bit. Let's start with a few playoff base packs just to get these out of the way. So first and foremost, Indy went 2-1 over the Knicks in the regular season, at least from what I remember. But I don't really think that's all that relevant, mostly because the Knicks and Pacers rosters are vastly different now than they were throughout the regular season when they played. Like, I'm pretty sure Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby didn't play in any of those 3 games for the Knicks. The Knicks had Taj Gibson playing 19 minutes in one of those games, which I love. Taj Gibson, one of my favorite Knicks from the last 5 years. You don't want Taj Gibson at whatever age he is now, like 39, 40 years old, playing more than like 30 seconds in an NBA game in the regular season. So having him play 19 was pretty scary, but it is what it is. The Pacers had Buddy Hield, which he's not on their team now. He's on Philadelphia, and Benedict Mathurin, who's unfortunately out for the year. Knicks also obviously missing Julius Randle and now Bojan Bogdanovic for the rest of the season. So as we get Al Horford, that's very exciting. So yeah, the in-season or regular season matchups don't really intrigue me all that much when you look at the records and the stats. Indy's a deeper team than the Knicks. If you were to look up playoff stats for Indiana in round one, and if you were to look at the minutes, I think their starters played between like 32 and like 38 minutes. Whereas if you look at the Knicks, like, I think Hartenstein played like 28 minutes a game. DiVincenzo played, I think, 32 minutes a game. But then if you look at the other starters for the Knicks, I believe between Brunson, Anunoby, and Hart, they average between like 42 and a little over 46 minutes a game. And that 46 minutes a game is from Josh Hart, who's been putting it all out on the line. I mean, he played, I think, 48 minutes at least once, if not twice in this series. And if he only played 48 minutes once in this series and his average minutes per game is still 46, that just shows how much Tom Thibodeau trusts him, how well conditioned he and the rest of the Knicks players are for him to average 46 minutes a game. And I think, in a series against Philadelphia, you can kind of get away with it because, yes, Philadelphia is like a really, physical, bruising team, and it was a very grueling matchup. But Indiana, they're a very, very young and fast-paced team. They love to push the pace. I believe they're like second in pace or in fast break, whereas the Knicks are like last in those categories, I feel like, or bottom tier, which is not great. But something that is really interesting to me, we'll open a few of these Bionic base packs, I guess, now. Something that's kind of interesting to me when it comes to Indiana and them wanting to push the pace and run fast break offense is their defensive rebounding numbers are not great, and that's probably partially due to the fact that they love to push it on the fast break, like you force a miss, and then a guy like Obi Toppin, and I know this because he used to do this for the Knicks, will leak out after a brick shot from the opposing team, and then whoever gets the rebound can throw a full court pass to Obi Toppin, they can get a quick 2 points just like that. So I think the pace of the game should be much more quick than it was against the Philadelphia 76ers. And for that reason, the Knicks only running a 7-man rotation in light of the Bogdanovic out for the season news that came out last week is kind of scary. So I wonder if we're going to see more Precious Achua. Alec Burks kind of scares me because he's not the Alec Burks that we had in 2020, 2021, where he was like a key contributor for our team. I feel like every time he touches the ball, he's looking to shoot and is not making the right play. And I feel like his shot also gets blocked pretty easily, which could lead to transition buckets, which scares me quite a bit against a team that, again, loves to run in transition. But again, Indy's not a great rebounding team. They just pull a dark matter out of a regular unsellable Bionic pack? Are you kidding me? My first dark matter pull ever out of a pack, not out of a lock-in. That's insane. And it's in the middle. I mean, I can't complain. It's my first dark matter pull. We're gonna take a break from this Knicks analysis here for a second to see who we get. I don't even know who I really want from this collection. I mean, Ben Simmons would be great. We're not going to get Ben Simmons. Knowing my luck, I'll get Tyler Hero, and I can't really complain because it's a free dark matter. But wow. Okay, dark matter. Let's flip it. Let's see. Who do we get? Shooting guard. Is it Tyler Hero? Man, I am so good at calling these things. Am I not? Tyler Hero, probably the one card that I really could not care any less about. But hey, I will gladly take a free dark matter. Thank you, 2K. I'll take that. Tyler Hero, welcome to the squad. We'll quick sell everything else. Anyways, moving on. I want to see how the New York Knicks are going to do on the offensive glass, and I'm curious to see what Indiana is going to do in response to them knowing that the Knicks are going to be crashing the offensive glass. I think the Knicks are the top team in the playoffs currently when it comes to getting offensive rebounds. Indiana, as I mentioned, not a great defensive rebounding team, so I think that chess match from Indiana, or I guess from Coach Carlisle, is he going to allocate more resources, more players to try and get defensive rebounds, to box out, to limit the Knicks from getting second and third opportunities, or is he going to, stick to his game plan and try and push the pace and wear out the Knicks? Because again, the Knicks, if they run the same 7-man rotation that they ran in the latter half of the 76er series, those players are going to get absolutely gassed by game 2, game 3. So, maybe it won't be as big of a deal in game 1 now that both teams got basically 3 full days to rest and then they play on Monday. So yeah, that's a really interesting thing for me to keep an eye on is, offensive rebounding or defensive rebounding versus transition bucket potential for the Indiana Pacers. When it comes to matchups that I'm really excited to see, you have OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, 2 players who got traded before the trade deadline this year to the Knicks and Pacers respectively, and they've both been key contributors to their new teams. And I think one thing, if you go back and you watch the game, I think it was just one game that Pascal Siakam played for Indiana when he got traded there. The Knicks had Precious Achua guarding. They had Precious Achua guarding Pascal Siakam, and he did not do a great job. I think OG Anunoby is a much more difficult matchup for Pascal Siakam, not just compared to Precious Achua, but also compared to anyone who was trying to defend Pascal Siakam in round 1 against, when they were playing against Milwaukee. Bobby Portis is not a great defender, and Brook Lopez is a solid rim protector, but he's old, and even when he was in his prime, he was never the fleetest of foot. He never really had the lateral quickness, so he's one of the few centers where when 2K gives him a 25 speed rating in my team, you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, but yeah, OG versus Pascal Siakam is going to be very interesting for me. To say OG Anunoby is the X factor for the Knicks in this series, I think is an understatement, because he's going to be so important defensively, and I think he really found a few nice tools in his tool bag to use offensively. He was really good from the mid-range for the Knicks against Philadelphia, and obviously he's great in transition, and he's really good at attacking the rim. Obviously he had that nasty poster dunk on Joel Embiid, and we saw a few more opportunities at the rim. He actually blew a bunch of open dunks, I believe in game That may have been in the last game, in game 6, could have been in game 5. But yeah, OG is going to be very important. I think the Knicks are going to probably put Dante DiVincenzo on Tyrese Halliburton. I thought it took the Knicks too long to put Dante on Tyrese Maxey. They started with OG Anunoby. That really never made a lot of sense to me because, OG Anunoby is a great defender, but I feel like having him chase around a smaller guard who's as electric as Tyrese Maxey is just a waste of his defensive ability. I'd rather have him roaming off of a guy like Tobias Harris. That's what I said in the previous series. And once the Knicks finally started doing that, and I think they realized, oh, having him guard a guy at the corner and then be like that baseline, weak side help defender to come in and, contest and sometimes block shots from Tyrese Maxey or, provide, a sneaky double team on Joel Embiid when he's trying to spin baseline to catch him off guard. I think that's the best use of OG Anunoby as like a free safety, if you will, on defense instead of having him be, on ball on the fastest player on the court. If you want to put him on ball in the series, put him on Pascal Siakam, but otherwise I'd be cool with him, sagging off of a guy like, a Nembhard, a Nesmith, someone else. Also, Miles Turner, a player who has historically really hurt the New York Knicks a lot, like a lot. He's been red hot in the postseason so far. He's shooting something like 44 or 45% from 3, and he's taking 7 threes a game so far. So he has really good volume, and like in terms of his shot, like his 3-point shot diet, and he's hitting a good amount of them. So the Knicks have always struggled. In particular, Mitchell Robinson has really struggled against Miles Turner. I'm hopeful that the Knicks playing against the Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid 2-man game through 6 games will help the Knicks be a little more disciplined in the pick and pop actions. Tyrese Maxey, his pull-up shot, or sorry, not Tyrese Maxey. Do we get a Galaxy Opal? Dude. Or is this a Diamond or Galaxy Opal? I can't even tell anymore, man. We're getting some pretty good luck so far out of these packs. Yeah, it's a Galaxy Opal. Who is this? That's Mike Miller. Mike Miller the Killer. That's cool. I'll take a free Galaxy Opal. I still don't want to lock in this collection, because if I lock in this collection, I'm going to get Tyler Hero again, and I'm going to be really upset. So I'm not going to do that. But hey, these are the best odds I've had from these packs, like, ever. So shout out to 2K for that, I guess. Do we have any more non-base packs besides those deluxes? Yeah, I have one more here. We'll open a few more bases first. But yeah, I'm hoping that the Knicks having guarded Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid's 2-man game will help set them up to defend the 2-man game between Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner a little bit better. I think, Tyrese Maxey is really good at, shot creation. I feel like I developed a lot of respect for Tyrese Maxey after watching him play in that series. I was very critical of Tyrese Maxey's ability to shoot off the dribble. I thought he was a really good catch and shoot player and a really good, attacker and getting layups, contested layups to go down. But he did a really good job of creating offense for himself too. He hit a lot of shots. I think like his shot percentage for off the dribble pull-ups heading into the playoffs was like 34%, and I feel like he made more than that. And if his percentage wasn't that much better, he made those shots when they mattered. I feel like every shot in the playoffs, you can really feel it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like in the fourth quarter, especially, I know first quarter points count just as many as fourth quarter points. But some of those fourth quarter pull-up shots that Tyrese Maxey hit, even outside of the ones in that crazy Game 5 final sequence, Tyrese Maxey, I think, really proved me wrong when it comes to his off-the-dribble pull-up ability. I don't think Tyrese Halliburton is as good of an off-the-dribble shot creator. He's more of a playmaker, and maybe if this was the Tyrese Halliburton before he hurt his hamstring, and I think now he's dealing with some sort of back spasm issue, although he's going to definitely play tomorrow, obviously. But I think Halliburton's going to be looking to create, and I think for that reason, hopefully DiVincenzo won't have to sweat as much defensively guarding Halliburton. I think there's a chance that we get Brunson even on Halliburton, and you put DiVincenzo on one of the other guards potentially. You never know. But that's what I think is going to happen. Again, I really think playing against the Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid 2-man game is going to hopefully help the Knicks bigs in defending that pick and pop game, because I felt like, especially in the latter 2 games of that series, when the Knicks were icing Tyrese Maxey on every screen and then hustling back defensively, whether it was Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson, to get back to Embiid to prevent him from getting a wide open jump shot. I thought the Knicks did a great job of that, and I'm hoping they can bring that same sort of defensive intensity in guarding the 2-man game of Halliburton and Miles Turner. I hope they can bring that same energy to this series against those two. Last but not least, uh, TJ McConnell really scares me. He's always been a Nick nemesis. I feel like no matter what team he's on, I feel like he was on Philly for a good amount of time, and he would always kill us whenever he was on Philly. I expect him to be the guy that Nick fans become very frustrated playing against. I really respect TJ McConnell. I think he had a pretty solid series, even though he only averaged 9 points a game against Milwaukee. I feel like, again, just like how I was talking about with Tyrese Maxey's pull-up shots that went in, I feel like every point that TJ McConnell gets for you is a huge plus, and because I just feel like his buckets come in a way that irritates the opponents, and I feel like he's going to irritate me when he plays. Kind of like the way Josh Hart is an irritator when other teams are playing against him, and he's getting his 4 offensive rebounds a game. So we'll have to see. I'm really excited for this series. I think it's going to be a really fun chess match. There's so many storylines going into this. One storyline I feel like people are not going to talk about all that much. Jalen Brunson, I think his last game in Dallas, it was a game 7 a few years ago, or I think it was also it could have been Rick Carlisle's last year in Dallas too. But Rick Carlisle only played Jalen Brunson 10 minutes in Brunson's last game with the Dallas Mavericks. Mavericks ended up losing that game. I don't think Jalen Brunson's going to use that as motivation to come out and beast and feast against the Indiana Pacers, because I think Brunson said it in an earlier game press conference. It's the playoffs. If you need extra motivation, then this is not for you. Basically, like, you should already be motivated. You're in the postseason. You're fighting for a chance to go to the next round. Go, in the case of the Knicks and the Pacers, go to the Eastern Conference Finals potentially to play against most likely the Boston Celtics, unless the Cleveland Cavaliers can pull off a massive upset, which you never know. Boston doesn't have Kristaps Porzingis, but they're still such a deep team, and they're so good. And I don't believe in the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think Donovan Mitchell is a great player, but I think the rest of that team, especially if Jarrett Allen can't play, is very soft. So we'll have to see. But anyways, my prediction: I'm taking the Knicks in 6 games. I picked the Knicks in 7 against the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was me thinking that Joel Embiid was like 50-60% healthy. Embiid, I feel like, somehow got healthier as the games went on. He just became dramatically less effective as the games individually progressed. Like, Embiid in the fourth quarters was horrific, and that really sucks. I just feel like that's a player who, we get a pink diamond, of course. I feel like Embiid's the kind of player you gotta just really manage his minutes throughout the season and hope that he's healthy enough to give you 36 to 38 minutes in the postseason. We get Andrea Bargnani, New York Knicks legend, Primo Pasta. But yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts on this Knicks series. Who do you have winning it? I could honestly see both teams coming out. I think, if you're a Knicks fan watching this series and you think that the Indiana Pacers are going to be a pushover because they're a worse team than the Philadelphia 76ers, all I'll say is, obviously, the 76ers have more star power than the Indiana Pacers, but I think the Pacers provide a different challenge, one that I don't know if the Knicks are going to be able to keep up with, because the Knicks are just missing bodies. I don't know if Thibodeau is going to be able to run a 7-man rotation. I think the conditioning of these players that, has been really heralded as, you look at Josh Hart again playing 46 minutes a game, and he's really playing very, very well. I mean, if Josh Hart doesn't hit the threes he hits at the beginning of the series, and obviously at the, key moments in game 6 as well, for the Knicks, I don't think the Knicks win this series against Philadelphia, especially with Brunson playing the way he did to start the series. Also, last thought really quickly before I close out my thoughts on this playoff series: I think Indy's going to probably put Nembhard on Jalen Brunson. That is a pink diamond. Yeah, I got excited there for a second. And I think that could be a pretty fun matchup to see as well. So, again, really excited for the chess match between these teams. Is that Draymond Green at point guard? I don't really care about that card. I guess I'll take it. I can't really complain. I got a Dark Matter in this pack opening. I got a Dark Matter. I got a Galaxy Opal. I got some pretty good stuff, man. I can't complain. What's funny is I was saying in the video earlier today that I recorded, which you'll be seeing this video probably Monday morning, at least when I'm going to be uploading it. But I mentioned in the video that I uploaded earlier that I'm really not that interested in these Bionic packs because the collection doesn't really interest me. And then, of course, I get a Dark Matter out of the Unsellable pack. Like not even the deluxe, the regular unsellable, which is hilarious. So but yeah, anyways, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, let me know down below if you have any thoughts on the collection, I guess, the Bionic collection, or about the NBA playoffs. You know, whether you're a fan of the Knicks or the Pacers or one of the other teams that are playing. Let me know what playoff series you're most excited to watch. I think as an NBA fan, I'm obviously most intrigued by the Timberwolves Nuggets series. I think that's going to be similar to the Knicks 76ers series, in that that's a series that I think everyone who's a neutral NBA fan or a fan of a team that is not Minnesota or Denver is going to try and catch every single time they play. Because, you know, if game one is indicative of how this series is going to go, I think the series, I originally had Denver in 7, and I'm not wavering on that yet, but I think Minnesota threw a great first punch. And last thing I'll leave you guys with before I get on out of here, because we're talking about game one. I think it's pivotal that the New York Knicks win game one tomorrow. The Knicks, I don't think, have ever won a series where they've lost game one at home. 2014 was the last time the Knicks played against the Indiana Pacers. That was the infamous Carmelo Anthony getting blocked by Roy Hibbert series in game 6. The Knicks lost in 6 to Indiana that year, and I believe they lost game one at home that year to Indiana. So I'm hoping that the Knicks can pull out a win. I know Knicks, as of this recording, are 6.5-point favorites. I don't know why that number is so high. I'm hopeful that the Knicks can win. I have the Knicks winning the series. I hope they can win tomorrow, but I feel like it's going to be a really close game, and I think people are sleeping on just how lethal the Indiana Pacers can be. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for 340 subs on this channel. You guys are awesome. Until next time, I'll see you later.